Okay, so I was explaining to y'all how having all this wax gooped in the groove of your frame can be quite a pain in the butt when you go to try to clean your frames up and put foundation back in them. Wedge top frame, you snap the wedge out and scrape it all clean with 90-degree angles, so that's not that big of a deal, but a groove top frame is not so easy. Now, Fat Bee Man has shown how he uses like a dull down steak knife or something and then keeps that scraped clean with a razor knife or whatever he does, but I had not found a tool that would work for me until today. And this is actually kind of fate because my daughter lost my bigger hive tool. I don't know where it's at. So I had to break out my little perfect pocket hive tool. This is actually made by a good friend of mine. He gave this one to me as a gift before he ever even rolled it out in the Data Ant catalog. But I normally don't use this one for doing my hive work just because it doesn't scrape very well, or at least not how it's used to, and I definitely don't use it when I do removals, because on removals I like to have my little bit longer hive tool to reach up in the cavities and scrape stuff clean. But I had to use it today and found out that actually, my son is having a heck of a time walking, actually the hook on the end here, which I don't use to pry up frames, works really good to get right down in the groove and scrape it clean. Now the first step though is that I have to soften the wax, because this wax packed down in the groove is kind of hot. And so what I like to do, grab my old trusty butane torch here, fire it up, and I just give it a real quick pass over with the torch, just a couple seconds. And that gets that wax softened up right away. And then take the end of my hook and just drag it down the groove and scrape it all out. But that's why I have my glove on, because this is the hand that's touching the hot wood that I heat up with the torch. You can see it leaves a nice little char mark, but it actually looks kind of nice too. So I'll scrape it clean first, scrape off the bulk of the wax, and then grab the torch, heat it real quick, and scrape out one half, flip it around, heat the other half, scrape it out, and of course the wax that I scrape is going right in here into my wax bucket, which will then be melted down to dip my foundation in. So now I've found a relatively quick way. This might actually be faster than breaking out a wedge and pulling nails and putting a wedge back in. We'll have to kind of see, but it's a little bit tedious, but it's a good exercise anyway to get the frames cleaned up anyway. So I'll be going through all my old rooftop frames that have wax packed in them, getting them cleaned out, and getting foundation snapped back in them so I can reuse them. Just wanted to share y'all how I was doing that. I tried a couple of different things in the past. Tried dipping the frames in boiling water to heat that wax up and get it off. But I'm finding here that my little torch is pretty handy dandy and has more uses than just a smoker lighter. So I'm going to keep on working.